everyone, and welcome to Zest to Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Or, as my guests will probably do a lot of, a dash of laughter along the way, because let's be honest, in order to find the peace, sometimes we need to actually laugh through it. So, with that in mind, today I am so excited to introduce a guest who knows how to command a stage, whether it's in a boardroom or under the bright lights of a comedy club. Louise Stevenson is a CEO, communications coach, author, motivational speaker, so much more, and yes, a comedian who has shared stages with some of the biggest names in comedy, including Jimmy Carr, Alan Carr, and Rich Hall, and many, many more. She's living proof that humour isn't just entertainment, it's a secret weapon for confidence, connection, and communication that sticks. So I am super excited because I think in this episode we'll explore her journey from stand-up to startups, why laughter is serious in business, and how we can all use humour to cut through the nerves, build trust, and show up as our most authentic selves on stage, in leadership, and just in life in general. Let's get ready, and I have already a feeling it's going to be full of so much wisdom as well as giggles. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Shel. Thanks so much. It's brilliant to be here this morning.
You are so welcome. And already, obviously we'll keep it PG for now, but there was a lot of even to and from with the emails, you're just such already, even without knowing you, I felt like I knew you. You're just such a ball of energy and fun, and I'm really, really excited, not only for the transformation and the wisdom you're going to share, but just for the fun I know of this session. So I'm super excited.
Great, fabulous.
So what I always love to do is, I feel like the way we often, I don't like the word label, but label or describe ourselves often comes from usually it's not always straight away. There's like a transformation or a point to where we get to in life. And I know myself, when I was younger, I used to use humor a lot, but although I didn't know it at the time, I used it a lot, not necessarily for the best way. It always made people laugh, but it was always kind of an undertone of very sarcastic, and not saying that that's a bad thing. So I would just love to know, have you just was it from a young age? Were you always just you found that love for making people laugh? Where did it come from?
I think growing up in Glasgow is a place where humour is very much a commodity. So I think from a young age we use it to engage and to, I suppose, to make my family laugh, was always something that I really wanted to do when I was younger. But yeah, I think Glaswegians as people, there's so many everyday comedians at home. Anytime I go up to Glasgow, I'm just surrounded by them. So humour is, like I say, it's a very big commodity, and it's highly prized in Scotland, and I very much grew up with that. So I think from watching Billy Connolly when I was a kid, was very inspired. Sadly, there was very few female comics back then, but it was. I don't know that I knew that I wanted to be a comedian when I was that young, but I certainly found the joy of making people laugh very young.
Amazing. I love that so much. And I hear what you're saying just from when I visited Scotland many times, and I hear you. I think I couldn't actually stop my face from permanently feeling like it was being pinched. Yeah, I agree. I'm sure not note down, but you're always being inspired, which is absolutely beautiful. So I love that. So thinking now about, because I don't think it's always this and that. I feel we can be multiple. We don't have to then transition all the time. And I feel like that's the beauty of, I feel like what you represent and do, which is amazing. So how have you used like humor as a tool to like, because having the gift yourself is very different to being able to empower others to feel confident to use it.
And sorry, Shel, what was the question?
So, thinking of like humor, because I know you use humor a lot to, for example, say someone wants to tell a story or stand on a stage confidently. And I think there's very much a difference in something that's kind of built into us that not necessarily comes naturally, but kind of does, to showing someone how to embody that skill. So I'd love to know like how do you gain people like not necessarily to be funny, but like give them the confidence and the empowerment to really like tell their story in the most I guess fun way so that they're engaging the audience.
Sure. Okay. Um, so I almost have two audiences because I run two businesses. So I run Brighton Comedy Course, which is specifically for people who want to do stand up,
Mhm.
and then I run Speakeasy Coaching, which is where people want to bring some humour into their comms. Um, I suppose what I'm trying to do, and the main thing with both clients and what they have in common, is I'm trying to get them to get out of their own way and find some comfortability to stop worrying so much. Life is short, so short, and we shouldn't. It saddens me. I think it's the saddest thing I know is when I'm out and about and I'm speaking at events and I meet other entrepreneurs who are so smart and so passionate about what they're doing, and the idea of sharing that passion or in front of a room of people just terrifies them. It's absolutely crippling to them. Or professionals who are, it stunts their career,
Yeah.
not being able to say, I'll take that, I'll be in. So I suppose with both business, I'm just trying to get people for their mindset to be stronger and for them, I suppose, to get over themselves a wee bit,
Yeah.
let's find some joy, and not worry so much about what other people think.
That's so beautiful. And like when I think of actually both, I don't actually see them as separate because in you giving the gift to either side, you're giving the gift of the other anyway, because they're naturally going to start embodying it in their house or just socializing on a stage. So it's kind of like they go thinking they're getting that, but they're kind of, I don't know, that's just how I
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I bumped into someone a couple of years back who's an entrepreneur, and she now employs about, I think she's got about 15 in Brighton, and she was saying, Louise, she said, I started my own financial business after leaving the comedy course.
Wow.
And she just said her relationships were, so yeah, it's lovely when I read recommendations. Sometimes I've got tears in my eyes. It's lovely. It's truly nice.
That's beautiful. I love that. And yeah, that just screams empowerment because it's just ironic how previous experiences end up feeding into something like now. I remember like even last year in November, I just felt like it was something out of my comfort zone. It was an opportunity to do a free comedy stand-up. And I'm there. We build this big illusion essentially of wow, everyone's going to be so confident, so full of life, so out there. And I kid you not, and this was just my experience, this is not saying that this is how it is, but I went into the room with this false, and you know what I'm going to say. And no one was talking to anyone. Everyone was so in themselves, in their head. And I was like, okay, this was the complete opposite of what I was expecting. I was expecting everyone to be larger than life, fighting for the mic. And everyone was like, you go first, you go first, you go. And I can see the value and the incredible impact that you're creating in what you're doing because there's so many assumptions that are so false.
Yeah, that's so true, and I'm glad you went through the experience yourself. I didn't know that. That's so interesting. But yeah, people think it's just going to be the biggest bunch of outgoing extroverts, and I would say it's 50-50. I mean,
Mm,
or people that are hilarious, and some people, there's a lot of funny people come on comedy courses, but a lot of people who have come on have said, I just wanted to smash my comfort zone. I wanted to find a new way of being myself. And yeah, it's a complete illusion that people come, the people who come on, it's really not all extroverts or outgoing people.
yeah, and I just love how creative the process is because you doing it and writing it yourself and maybe in an environment where people know your humor and your personality is very different in front of a room of other people, potentially when it's other comedians you're doing it and with the audience, and it's like, oh, okay, like it really is a process, and I think it's incredible. I think, like, I honestly would say, and obviously I'm selling you and what you're doing, but I would really say to people, even if you don't even follow through and get on the stage, even the process of being in that situation and just being around other people, like-minded people, and seeing how people deliver, show up, how their stories, it's really powerful, I felt.
Yeah, and that's that's the thing. People don't have to do the graduation gig at the end. So there's a graduation gig that's brilliant fun, and there's about 130 people in the audience. I compare the night. We have a photographer, a cameraman. It's very professionally done, and it's a absolute bonkers fun night.
Yeah.
And people in the recommendations and the Facebook reviews and stuff, people are like, this was the best night of my life. My kids are now looking in a different way.
Yeah.
My missus is now talking to me, or the different the stories I've heard has been so funny. But so people don't have to do that graduation. It's very rare people don't want to once they've been through the process. But I think the main thing about the comedy courses is the camaraderie. People bloody, because it's such a deep end, that people really kind of gel and make
Yeah.
these kind of deep friendships that they keep for many years.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what I really felt is it's such a process that you almost become that like that family, because I think also with the you will probably know, and I hope you haven't experienced this, but I know this is something that happens in comedy, but the heckling, like, again, actually, that's a big thing that, like, you kind of not want to invite these experiences in, but put yourself out there, put yourself in this, uncomfortability. And because, yeah, it's ironic that the process was almost like, to start with, like I said, walking, everyone's kind of in themselves, and it was so nurturing and loving. And then because you built those relationships, you kind of, someone will give you a little heckle, but in a safe environment, and it just gives you that, like, in a safe way to just experience something. And I think it's incredible what you're doing. And yeah, it's ironic you go for that, and it's really not that you end up receiving. You receive so much more. So yeah, I love it, and if anyone is in your area, or I would recommend go, even if you just go to just have a giggle. I don't know how often you do it a week, but this is what I found. It was really like connection and having that time, because I think life's so serious sometimes. Like, imagine to be able to get the skills so you can really tell your story in a way that makes people laugh and enjoy and have fun. What a gift! What an absolute
Yeah.
gift!
Yeah, for sure. And we're the last course of the year starts on Tuesday, actually, next Tuesday. So Tuesday 23rd, in Brighton. And for this course, this is the first time we're doing it. We're piloting an online version. So
Wow.
with pitch and present masterclasses. We've always did an online live, where you can attend like that. And this is the first time we're doing the comedy course in an online live situation. So we're piloting it this year. It's really exciting. I mean, my tech isn't brilliant, Shel, but I went up to the venue and it works for the public speaking, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But so yeah, it's opening it up to people from different countries. We've got a few Irish people who have been wanting to come on for ages as well. So it just opens it up. So that's going to be really exciting. But and I think the comedy courses feel probably at people's comfort like too much. But so maybe that's why the people end up kind of going on to the public speaking thing. But it's just, humour's just such a great way to engage an audience. It lowers people's defences. It makes you likeable. It's just such a no-brainer. And I think the biggest misnomer I always hear when I'm teaching public speaking is people go, and I've got clients who are so funny and smiley and they're like, hey, and then they got up to present something and they're like, boom, boom, hello.
Everything around them, the mic, the notes, like, I'm here but I'm not here.
It's serious. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And they're like, and they start laughing at themselves. I'm like, I don't understand why you're doing that. When we're doing the one-to-one coaching, and they're saying it's because Louise, I will seem much more professional if I'm really serious. And I'm like, this is just, the idea that not bringing your own personality or not having a sense of humour somehow lowers the gravitas of your message or your business or your professionalism. Absolute nonsense.
But it's like most things in life, isn't it? It's almost like we were just programmed to so many illusions that are just holding us back. And like what you said, and I loved how raw and real you said it at the start, get out your own way. Get out of it's not all about you. Essentially. I know you didn't say that. I'm not putting words into your mouth, but there's so much that, like, our story, our message, like, even with me for a little bit about doing this, we make it about ourselves and it's nothing to do with us. It's nothing to do with us. It's like, Shelley, if you can hold the space and you can use your time and you can communicate in a way to amplify someone else's voice, and it's not actually about you. Take yourself out the way.
And we're so in there. I mean, I meditate every morning. I've been keeping it up since I was about 17, and sometimes I've stopped, sometimes I've started. But when I go to the meditation centre, there's one near us, and a fabulous one near us in Hove, and we go down there and he's talking about this me, and he goes, go into work and he says, go into work Monday and say, guys, I'm the most important person here. And everybody will be like, what? And he said, but that's what you think. Everybody was laughing. He was like, but that's what you think.
Yeah.
What about me? What about me? And it's so true. How we're functioned in that sense of identity, me, rather than stepping back, because everybody's so worried about their own crap and their own things that they're, there's this thing called it's almost a bit like imposter syndrome, but it's this tendency to think that all of your flaws are on display, and nobody can see your flaws. There's a lot to be said for fake it till you make it. If you don't display that, I get people up to stand and do stand-up or else presentations at TED Talks, and I'm saying, how did you feel? And they were like, oh my God, I was so nervous. And I'll say to everybody in the group, how did you feel that they looked? And they're like, oh my God, I would have never been able to tell. They just look so confident.
I think that's so important that you mention that, because it's almost a contrast to the other thing of what you said earlier of the person being so funny and then it's like we've got a false impression of that person as well, you know? So yeah, I just think let's be kinder to ourselves. Let's just, like we say, actually sometimes have no intention, just have a bit more fun in your life, and you never know, like what you said about that beautiful story, you'd never know what unfolds from it. And I think that's amazing. Like, and that's why I love that. And this is obviously my opinion. This is not at all saying that this is your business plan, but almost like offering the two different options, but they kind of essentially are getting the same.
I suppose what the difference is with the speakeasy, the comfortability, and I suppose they're looking for their more help with their content. And their content will be much more kind of professional, and for them to identify their objectives. Why are they doing that? Talk in front of 200 stakeholders. What do they want to happen? What do they want the audience to do after they spoke? So that's it. It's taking a step back sometimes when you're creating good comms and saying what's important for the audience, what's important for me, what message do I want to relay, so many people just throw themselves at, and they speak in front of 300 people, and I've had people come to me to be a client, and I said, 300 people, did you meet your objectives? And they were like,
oh, I love that so much. And oh, absolutely, like, of course, yeah, it's all about intention. Like someone, that just wants to come out of their shell a little bit more is very much a different intention to having an event coming up and really needing someone to, like what you say, not only make it about us and being on that stage, but actually are you fulfilling the criteria of why you're there? I think that's really, really important. So thank you for mentioning that. So I'm assuming, obviously, like the beautiful thing is about online is, you are global, so people can get in touch with you, and so, they don't have to be in beautiful Glasgow, they can be wherever, and you will be able to be there to support them, and all your details will be in the description.
Yeah, great. And we're actually based in Brighton.
Oh, sorry. Do you know, you said Brighton. I'm so sorry. That was such an assumption. Thank you for correcting that. Opposite ends. Where's Louise? Sorry.
It's all right, not a problem.
Wow, love. Of course, this is not like an interview, so if there's anything else you would love to share, please use this time now to share. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed connecting with you. And
thanks so much. Yeah, it's often when I'm a podcast guest or else I'm hosting the panels, it's quite often scripted, and the questions come to me, and so it's actually been nice to free fall a wee bit. Actually, I've quite enjoyed that.
Thank you so much.
That has been so nice.
Thank you. The only last thing that I always ask all my guests before you go is just off the top of your head, if there was someone listening right now, it doesn't have to be professional, personal, whatever just comes to your mind that you feel like they would really need or benefit from hearing, what would you tell them?
I think my mantra is life is too short, make the most of it, and try and push yourself at your comfort zone. There's a fantastic quote saying that comfort is the enemy of progress, and it's so true. It was actually in The Greatest Showman, but yeah, it's a brilliant movie, but it's a brilliant way to and get some help, either myself or we run online things, we're speakeasy coaching or Brighton comedy course depending on what kind of what area you're looking at, but get some coaching even where you are, because it makes such a difference for somebody to give you techniques to work with you and your confidence to
Mm.
boost you up and to give you a wee bit of feedback in your content, because if
Yeah.
people don't have any faith in their content, it puts them off speaking. And
Yeah.
actually, maybe it needs to be a bit more engaging. And so get help, get a coach, watch YouTube videos, and get help. But I will say, just in closing, that people who are confident and who can speak at events, I mean, for professionals and entrepreneurs, it's an absolute no-brainer. I could
Absolutely.
be 3 weeks in LinkedIn compared to speaking at an event with 300 people there. It really is a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And, like what you say, sometimes we can't even see it when it's in front of our face, our blind spots, because, yeah, just naturally we don't see ourselves. So, yeah, what a valuable advice. And I know many are going to listen to this and not only enjoy it, but also I feel even for me it's making me reflect back on when I'm a host or when I'm public speaking, and just being really clear about that intention, like what is the outcome you want to achieve from this event, and not always have the selling or the alternative, ulterior motive, but it's important to hold that in your mind. Yeah, so I really appreciate that myself. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. It's been an absolute pleasure, Shell.
Honestly, thank you so much, Louise. And I'm definitely going to go and look you up, because I do this thing where I don't want to know too much about my guests because I want to just be really on the spot and ask. But yeah, I'm excited to find out more about you and all the greatness that you're doing. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. And I'm sure I'll see you soon at an in-person event, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. We set the seed.